Welcome back to the Vancouver Canadians pregame show powered by North Beach Agency. Tyler Zickel here and a very special guest joining us on the pregame show tonight. It's last night's starting pitcher, Nick Fraze. Nick, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? It's going quite good after your performance last night. Let's get right to it. 6 innings, zeros all across the way, and a great win for the Canadians as they shut out a really high-powered offense in Everett. Just from your 30,000-foot view of your approach last night, what was working so well on the bump?
Well, just trying to get ahead, even though I didn't get ahead too well, but just trying to throw strikes, just trust my stuff, make them hit it. I got a bunch of great defensive plays early on. Dalo in the first inning caught a line drive back up to him. Phil Clark threw a runner out. That's just kind of momentum that helps a pitcher, kind of settles you down when the defense makes like big plays like that. Helps a lot. So yeah, everything was kind of going together. Everything kind of went my way. Some calls went my way. So it was a good night.
Yeah, don't want to make you pick too many sides here, but talk about the strike zone last night and maybe in the series from what you've been seeing. Obviously, the umpires, they're also trying to get better just like y'all are as players. So how do you contend with that when sometimes the zone might be fluctuating? How are you able to stay mentally dialed in?
For me, my approach is to try to get everybody out in 3 pitches or less. So I'm just trying to attack, and if I get a call in the corner, I do. That's cool. I'll try to keep attacking that, but I'm really just trying to force contact, just throw it in there, make them hit it, kind of deal.
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about the first inning last night. You threw just 5 pitches, you get 3 outs, and it seemed really from the first pitch you threw that you seemed to be especially comfortable and confident, as you are almost every time we've seen you take a start, but last night especially. So did anything go differently? Was it a great bullpen? Was it a bad bullpen? Did you have to kind of find a way to find it? What was working going into the start last night?
Well, I got together with both of the Phils, the pitching coach and the catcher, and we kind of had a game plan going into a little bit. We had an idea what I was going to try to do because I tend to struggle to left-handed hitters a little bit. So we kind of came up with a game plan. Like if I'm going to go in, like go in, don't miss middle, and just kind of like throw in the change up a little bit more. Worked on that this week, try to dial that in. And then my slider was actually pretty good front door to lefties last night. So just kind of everything kind of clicked together. I kind of worked on that in the pin this week, and it kind of translated over. But just still consistently just throwing strikes, attacking the zone. I think that's the most important part.
We're talking with Nick Fraze, last night's winner and today's pregame guest. Want to talk about your consistency, Nick. It's been 3 consecutive starts where you've gone 6 innings, and that's good enough for a quality start thanks to allowing 3 earned runs or less. In fact, I think it might have been 2 earnies a couple times ago, maybe 1 last time, and then, of course, none last night. You seem to be a guy who likes to go long in games and is able to do it pretty regularly. Is this something that you kind of classify yourself as a guy who's going to go out and give you 6 and maybe 7?
Yeah. So my pitch count's been kind of light a little bit. I still have a couple pitches to go a little bit, so I think I've in my inning limit a little bit, but in there, let him hit it. Just go from there.
I want to talk to you about this experience being here in Hillsborough. Obviously, you're a guy who's been up to Vancouver previously. Some guys on the roster have never played at Nat Bailey Stadium, but how have you been adjusting to this kind of home away from home type of mentality for the C's?
I mean, I miss Nat Bailey. I miss Vancouver. It was an amazing time there. That's a special place for sure. It's definitely weird sharing a field and not like we really don't have like a home field setting as much.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you just have to adapt. I mean, most of it, like these players, we've played all over the world, so all over the country and everything. So you're kind of used to just playing in random places in the middle of nowhere. So it's not too bad. I like it, kind of keeps you focused, but it's good out here.
The life and times of a professional baseball player, for sure. You never know where you're going to end up playing ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of places that you've played ball, let's talk quickly about Texas State. There, I was looking at some of your stats as I've done over the couple of starts that you've made here this year. And there was that 12 strikeout game against Rice where we saw kind of shades of that with 7 punches in 6 innings yesterday. 7 innings pitched in that game against Rice. Do you remember what were you doing against that team from Texas?
Yeah, they had a bunch of right-handed hitters in the lineup, so
Nice.
I just kind of I think we threw my slider the entire time, and the game was at Minute Maid, and a couple of like the hitters on my team were saying it's kind of hard to see, like it's kind of like it's weird with the shadow, whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna rip sliders because it's gonna be hard to hit, and that just kind of played out well there.
That's really cool. And that's
Yeah,
obviously quite the baseball program at Rice and Texas State. Don't mess with Texas State. That's for sure.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we let you go, I want to talk quickly about your vision for the season. Obviously, a lot of things working well for you so far this year, but the goal is to get better, get promoted, and eventually get to the show. So as you continue to work on your game, you work with pitching coach Phil Kandari as well, who has quite a unique background to be a pitching coach. Certainly an opportunity here to take your game to the next level. Are there a few things that you're targeting to really improve on this year?
Uh, my main focus this year is just go out, give it my all kind of deal, but just stay healthy and take every day like day by day, because that's all I can control is just what's right in front of me. Like today, like I have light catch, like I'm gonna focus on just light catch, flushing my arm out, recovering well, and then next day like go with my plan kind of deal. So I don't try to think too far in the future, but just take day by day, just keep throwing strikes and just keep attacking hitters. I think that's gonna work for me.
And it's certainly been fun watching you do just that so far this year, Nick. Last night's winner was 6 shutout innings as part of a shutout for Vancouver, and today's North Beach Agency Vancouver Canadians pregame show guest. Nick, great work last night. Thanks for being a part of the fun today as well, and we'll talk to you along the way.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with more pregame show after this on Sportsnet 650.